switched Eric, Khalid screen, and Waltering Water. All right, so hi, and welcome to the Cabinet of Curiosities. I'm your host, J-Rock, and as you already know, Frank Walls will be covering the Spanish version of this, and it's called El Armario de Curiosidades. This is a new segment from Distorted Realities. We're super excited to explain this in great detail. So a little bit about what is the Cabinet of Curiosities. Simply put, we've acquired relics from different artisans that are handcrafted. We've acquired them through sources. We've purchased them, and some of them are real, some of them are not. That's for you to decide and for us to present. Either way, it's going to make for great discussion points and something very unique and different. And the reason why is because some of this stuff is very rare to find. Okay, and with that being said, we're going to start the show with Frank's favorite, El Chupacabra. So stay tuned and let me get ready. So we're going to get ready by putting on gloves. So let's get ready. Put on these gloves. Super excited to see what we're going to show. I'm going to be very gentle with this stuff because one, they're very expensive. We pay for them. And two, we want this to go in our cabinets on display. We want to take care of them. Like anything that you buy that is one of a kind or unique, treat it with love. You'll never know. It might be priceless at one point. So we're going to go to the first relic. This we've acquired from a gentleman named Westman from Puerto Rico. He's a YouTuber and a fan of ours, and we're a fan of his stuff. According to him, he acquired it through different means and was found in Isabela. We don't know if it's real or not, but we'll grab it now and then put it on the display table so that you can take a look at it. All right, so here it is. As you can see, it looks quite unique. Almost like a mummified remain. Kind of looks like Mr. Taco. No pun intended. But yeah, let's go put it on display for you to watch. And there you have it. So let me give you a description. But first, I want you to take a look at it and tell me what you see in the chats. You can place an image of it or your description, and we'll take a look at it shortly and we'll talk about it. Okay, so now we're going to describe this in detail. We have the rotating display so that you can take a look at the object while we describe it. And let's get rolling. So this appears to be some kind of handcrafted version of the Chupacabra. It is probably 1/3 in scale. As you can see in the head and the back, it has the spines as described. It has 3 elongated digits on its hind legs and front arms from what they appear. Teeth are very sharp. If you could just check it as it rotates, you'll see that it has this alien-like look. I take it that this is made out of resin, if not some form of plaster cast material. It is rather light. But with that being said, it makes for a great talking piece. Is it the real deal? Probably not. But we want to thank Westman again for giving us this amazing piece of artifact. It was probably acquired by some kind of craftsman And yeah, it looks like a very interesting piece. So let's get to it. Let's talk about this chupacabra and what it is. So we're going to stop for a second and let you admire the footage, and then we'll go back to the talking points. So, a little bit about the chupacabra. Many years ago in Puerto Rico, there was this mythological type entity called El Vampiro de Moca, the vampire of Moca. Moca is this little place in Puerto Rico, and apparently it was eating the livestock at the farmers' locations in the different areas, specifically goats and chickens. In 1995, there was a resurgence of this, and they named it the goat sucker, aka the chupacabra. What makes this interesting case is that a politician by the name of Chemo Soto went to town with a party of about 20 people, armed, ready to look for this specific species of creature, to hunt it down and pretty much lay it to bed. In other words, dead. Yes, dead. He wanted it killed instead of preserving it. Now, what makes this crazy is that later on, a different version came out, right? And that version was kind of an Americanized version, if you will, South Americanized in Mexico, and it resulted to be a dead coyote. It didn't kind of fit well with the motif of what this represented. Frank Walls stands firmly on it that the real chupacabra is the one of Puerto Rico. So with that, we got this prize piece that's going to make for a lovely addition to our cabinet. And, I think that all in all, it is a beautiful handcrafted piece. What can be said about the chupacabra? Well, it sparked a lot of fear and outrage. There were reports of attacks on humans. There was a newspaper clippings from El Vocero, which is Puerto Rico's newspaper, and El Diario, that kind of went all around, and it actually televised on syndicated television here in the United States, and it became all the rage for about a good year and a half, 2 years. This legend kind of fizzled out over time, and today it makes for a great talking piece in a moment in history where aliens at the period were not socially accepted as today, but it was considered one of those aha moments, right? So let's take one more look at the object. And it's a sight to see, right? If you envision this being about 5 foot in size, it might make for a very creepy object or creepy creature if you was to encounter it in person. I find these kind of adornments, because that's what they are for us, a very cool collectible, what we call a gaff piece or a sideshow piece. And it makes for a good remembrance of one of our partners in the show, Mr. Taco. So now I have a reason to crack jokes on him. So what do I make of it? Creatures like this are one in a million. And every town and country and state has its myths and legends. This is one that was considered very real in Puerto Rico and even very real in the United States, although its variation of it was very different. We found out that it was just a coyote with hair loss. I don't know if Rogan would have done the trick, but yeah, with all the stuff that we come to see, I find that this is one of those legends that stand out to me because it's part of my culture. Not only that, it makes for great storytelling. There's other adaptations of it, including in Taino legends, right? A lot of people don't discuss that because it goes further back. And then also the South American or Mexican lore, there is some stories that kind of describes this same creature, but it's named differently, and it has a different purpose, right? Do I believe the artifact is real? More than likely not. Is it a great rendition of what we perceived it to be based on the descriptions and evidence that was provided? Absolutely. I think it's a great piece. And like we said, we discussed the unknown, and it's for you to discover your truths. So we'll add it onto our cabinet of curiosities. And now we're going to move to something that's very special to me, movie relics. Now, this makes me super excited because for the next artifact that I found was actually acquired by yours truly, J-Rock. And why? Because I'm a die-hard fan. There's a director named Dario Argento who produced tons of great horror films. He's an Italian horror filmmaker and a master beyond all things horror. Now, what I will say is that this particular piece was from my childhood, and it's none other than the 1985 movie Demons, or in Italian, Demoni, and for those of you watching in Spanish, Demonio, right? So the first artifact I want to show you, and it's one of a kind, is the mask. And why is this so cool? Because it was like the centerpiece of the movie. Now, they say that whoever wears it becomes a demon. Now, I am not going to wear it. I'm still kind of, childhood stricken by this piece. However, I needed it. And yes, this was custom made to fit the same description as the movie. But what makes this piece so cool is that it's very rare to find. And for those who know the value in this, this is not a plastic shell. It's actually a very hard, solid piece. What makes this so good is the movie itself. So I'm going to put the mask back because I want to show you the next piece that ties into this. Alrighty. So for the next piece is a movie ticket. Now this movie ticket is to a theater called the Metropole. Now the movie Demons is centered around a group of ladies who are going to school. They were going to cut class, and they run into a strange guy with half a mask on and dressed up in all black. I believe his name is Mikhail Suavi, who plays the character. And basically, he's out in the subway giving out free tickets to the Metropole. Now, what makes it interesting is that people that go to this theater, they're going to go watch a movie. And that movie is kind of like the catalyst for what's happening in the theater, right? And what you come to find is that they get the ticket, they meet a couple of guys in the theater, and as they're watching the movie, someone finds the mask mounted on top of a lance that's on a knight who's riding a motorcycle. Kind of cheesy, and we'll get into that in a few seconds. However, in the movie that they're watching, they find this amazing little coffin that's labeled N for Nostradamus. And in there, they find a book and the mask. All right, so let's go to the imagery. And there you have it. So what you see is the ticket, the mask. Of course, we had to get the font for the movie Demons, right? And then you have the book. Now, as the people are watching the movie in the theater, in the movie itself that they're watching, the guy is saying, this is this ancient book. It was written by Nostradamus. And one of the friends takes the mask and goes, whoever wears it becomes a demon. And the guy gets cut and ends up in the movie, kills his friends. Now, in the movie theater, that mask is on display. And there's a guy who's like a pimp, has a lady, and that lady that he's pimping wears the mask. She gets cut, and now it's the cycle repeating itself. Now, why is this relic so important to me? It's because although the movie in itself had a cheesy feel to it, the idea of being stuck and not being able to escape through an infestation that's taking place, because once a person becomes a demon, they can infect others to become demons. It becomes very scary. And then when you do manage to escape, you realize that the whole city is contaminated. And that is the centerpiece for me of what the movie Demons resembles. There's no escape from the harshness, right? That can present itself when there is some kind of contamination spread. And now we've experienced this in real life with COVID-19 and many other things. This takes a very exaggerated story. Nonetheless, it kind of plays on that. And another movie that's very similar is 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, and so on. Right? Zombie films are kind of like the catalyst about getting infected. So there is a kind of like a different trajectory with this because it deals with demons rather than, your traditional zombies and all those other gimmicks or tropes that we see on television. So is this the real deal? No. Would I put it on my face and wear it? No, only because I'm kind of scarred as a kid. There is a sequel to the movie, has nothing to do with The Mask. I think it's a great piece. Yes, it is an expensive piece, but we're fans of all things horror and all things supernatural and paranormal, and I think it's worthy of being in the Cabinet of Curiosities for the very story it tells. So I'll leave you with this. If you're watching a movie or roaming through everyday life, hanging out with your friends, imagine a scenario where everyone is susceptible to the same infection or the same contagion and you have nowhere to go. Give that some thought. So there you have it, folks. An interesting set of artifacts that will now be part of our Cabinet of Curiosities. We would like for you to, watch the episode and share your comments or stories about the movie. Or if you're from Puerto Rico and you was in that time period, share your stories about the fears that came out of the whole legend of the goat sucker, aka in Spanish, El Chupacabra. I can't wait to show you more. We have a lot of stuff coming on display. We would like to thank Westman also for providing the gaff. I believe that's what it is. And yeah, I think these are great centerpieces, as you can see, and it's for your enjoyment. Today is our very first episode of Cabinet of Curiosities. This is something I've been dying to do for many years, and there's a reason for it. History has a way of erasing things that are of significance or importance to some of us, if not many of us. This allows us to collect the things that no one wants to touch or don't deem, worthy of its attention. Art, whether it's a collectible, a mask, a book, an audio file, its desire and its need is for it to be criticized. We present these artifacts not just as pieces of lore that hold a story, but as a way for you to critique the pieces that are made or presented or acquired through whichever means necessary. The only difference is that we acquire the things that are weird, strange, the macabre, the odd, the unknown, and we explore those reaches to share it with you, the viewer. At the end, these are two great pieces that do this desire criticism and should require some level of attention because they're part of horror movie history and part of life history because it's something that is well documented. With that, I can't wait to see you next time on the Cabinet of Curiosities. Who knows what you're going to see next? Have a good one.